Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we are once again going to be talking about that upcoming major snowstorm. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do think about the related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting store in the description and the pinned comment down below, where you can receive our awesome products. They're very, very cool. And I also would recommend that you check out our very exciting Patreon page, where you will receive awesome bonus content. Alright, now for today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think that this snowstorm is going to be this more southern-based option that I'm going to show you, or do you think that it's going to be more for the upper Midwest? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's get right into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look at the simulated radar on our European model, and actually you can see that that area, we talked about this yesterday, in the four corner states starts out as snow potentially for Arizona and New Mexico. This is only a couple of days away, looking at the 10th, so we're only about 2 days away from the start of this storm, so it's not as far away as you would think. Let's just take it to about 2 p.m. on Friday, which is actually 3 days away, and as you can see, we have still the four corner states, but also the Great Plains receiving some snowfall. A lot of that precipitation is located kind of for the south central United States, I would say. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, even up through Iowa as well. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to move on, and we're going to take a look at when this storm is going to spread and bring a lot more snow to a lot more regions throughout the upper Midwest, the Great Plains, and the Great Lakes. Alright, now here we are taking a look at about 11 p.m. on Friday, December 11th still. As you can see, the Rockies are actually getting quite a bit of snowfall from this one, probably in the form of some snow showers, as there's not really a low pressure system associated with that. There's not a lot of organization to it at all. However, the areas over there for Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan, including Chicago now looking to be directly involved potentially. The models this morning are trending at kind of a Chicago bullseye, whereas yesterday was a lot further north than that. But the one thing you want to pay attention to, and I always say this, the location could change so quickly. The important thing is they still show a major snowstorm, so we're gaining confidence that that's going to occur. The location is just going to be what we really need to pinpoint down. All right, now let's just go ahead and move it towards about 5 p.m. on Saturday, December 12th. And as you can see, we start to get moderate to very heavy snowfall actually in some spots here. Throughout portions of Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, especially Illinois there by Chicago, like I was saying, southern Wisconsin, and even in through Michigan as well. This area has actually seen, the Great Lakes that is, has seen one other major storm. We saw that one just a couple of weeks ago, and now we're seeing this. This is kind of our worst of winter area from our winter forecast, and I'm very happy with how that's gone so far. If by the time we're halfway through December, we've already had 2 major storms for that area, I think that's a really, really good start to that. This seems to be a very popular storm track, and the models actually have multiple storms in the coming weeks coming through this region as well. We'll need to talk about that on a later date, though. What we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards about 3 a.m. on Sunday, December 13th, where we're going to see this one head further into Michigan. All right, now, as you can see, again, we're at about 3 a.m. on Sunday, December 13th, and that's about 5 days away, so by the time we're ending this storm, it's going to be quite a few days out. As you can see, we're still seeing snowfall throughout portions of Missouri, portions of Illinois as well, and even portions of Indiana and Wisconsin, but especially there for the northern half of Wisconsin, Michigan, we're seeing heavier snowfall, as you can see, in kind of those deeper blues and more purplish shades. That's definitely where it's coming down. Also notice New England is getting some front end snow from this system as well, which is also very, very interesting. Notice I said front end because it's probably going to snow in the beginning and then switch over to rain, and then potentially switch back over to snow as we move on towards about 2 a.m. on Monday, so that's kind of later that night. We see that there is some rain that comes in for portions of more eastern New England, but then we end things with some snow showers behind it. So that's going to kind of limit accumulations for New England. I think this is definitely more of a Great Lakes, upper Midwest type event. New England, you're not really going to be able to accumulate from this one, likely because of the fact that there's going to be just too much warm air in the middle portion of the storm. First off, there might be snow that accumulates in the beginning, but then the rain is going to melt it, and then the ground is going to be so wet that I doubt there will be accumulations after. So unless things change, I think this will be a very minimal event for New England and in the Northeast overall. Again, unless something big changes, because we're still quite a few days away. There could be some big shifts that would allow for more. But at this point, it just does not seem like there's going to be much in the way of accumulation. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually just going to take a look in just a moment at the same things except on the GFS model and see where it agrees and also where it disagrees. So what I did for this segment is we're actually going to take a look at a few models, but we're going to take a look at kind of the heart of the storm, the actual middle point of that storm where it's at its worst. And this is on the GFS, and as you can see, the location is actually quite the same. Our low pressure center is located over Indiana, and we see light snowfall for portions of Missouri, and then also we see that heavier snowfall there for Illinois and Michigan, the same way the European model had it. Again, when these two models are in agreement, that's actually a really good sign that they're onto something, and I think this could be relatively accurate. Obviously, there could be some shifts north and some shifts south. We'll need to watch that extremely closely just to see what happens with that. Let's just take a look at our Canadian model now and see what it has to say, and this is by about, I would say 11 p.m. on Friday here, and as you can see, this model has it a lot further north. We have that low pressure center located on the borders of Iowa and also Illinois, with heavier snowfall going on for central Illinois and through Minnesota and Wisconsin, maybe even the upper peninsula of Michigan there. But as we move that on towards about, I would say, the afternoon hours of Sunday, we kind of get a secondary low that moves in and actually brings snowfall to the Ohio Valley. So this is a very interesting outcome and very different, but we would actually get kind of two separate snowfall events from that, both pretty major, actually. So we will wait and see. That would be quite interesting if that was to play out that way, for sure, to say the least. We're going to be taking a look in just a moment, actually, at all of the total snowfall maps according to all of these models. So we'll get to see kind of just how major all these storms have it, all of these models have the storm. But really, at this point, they've been consistent with the amounts. And we want to look for that consistency at this range, since we're kind of still in the medium range. When the models are still calling consistently for 12 inches plus, my confidence in that is relatively high. But when they switch completely from like the upper Midwest all the way down to the Great Lakes in a matter of 24 hours, my confidence in the location is very, very low. So we will be tracking this over the coming days. Like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to move on. And we're going to move on and just take a look at the total snowfall maps from all of these models, and then we're going to close out the video. Now, first things first, with our European model, we're actually just going to be taking a look at the total United States, and then we're going to zoom into the Great Lakes so we can see our actual storm. But as you can see, a lot of these storm systems actually bring a lot of snowfall out there for the western United States, the Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. Kind of in our areas that we were expecting more snowfall than average this winter, and it looks to stay consistent, and that looks to be the case. If you're anywhere in the grays, you're generally seeing a dusting. If you're in the blues, you're anywhere from about 2 to 6 inches of snow. If you're in the purples, you're at about 6 to 9. And then in the pinks, you're at about 9 to 20. And then kind of for those more pastel colors, which you can see some of those down there for the Southern Rockies and also for portions of the Cascades up there in the Pacific Northwest, that's where you're 20 inches plus. So let's just go ahead and zoom into our main storm. And as you can see, for Iowa, Missouri, and again, this is the European model, by the way, Illinois, including the north side of Chicago, I would say, and then even in through portions of Wisconsin and northern Michigan. At this point, it seems like there's going to be a general area of 12 to 20 inches of snow that sets up. We can see a lot of 16s, 18, 17, 13, 16 inch amounts there throughout these states there. So this storm is looking very major at this point. It could be a smaller area or a larger area, and it could be a different area. But at this point, the one thing we do have some pretty high confidence in is that there looks to be about 12 inches plus somewhere from the storm, which I definitely consider major. Now, on our GFS model, we actually see it a little bit further east-based, I would say. You can see Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois have less snow, but then Michigan has the same amount as the European and in a relatively similar location. Chicago on this model would have about 7 inches or so, but then central Michigan has about the same that it had on the European model. Now, remember the Canadian model has two separate systems, kind of. Well, they end up being a little less major since they're not really merged. So we get the one that heads up there through Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and the Upper Peninsula, generally dropping 6 to 10 inches of snow in those purple areas. But then we get that second area that moves through southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and northern Ohio there, even in through portions of Pennsylvania and New York. That would be kind of a moderate snowfall, bringing maybe 4 to 6 inches of snow or so, maybe a bit more. So we will watch that closely. Usually the GFS and the European model are right and not the Canadian model, but we will see. Here's our German icon model just for just to show it. And as you can see, this one also has kind of those 10-inch plus amounts, but it's a little bit less and it's a little bit further north than the European models and the GFS model. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys actually, which area do you think will see the most snowfall? And nobody said Michigan. I was thinking Michigan, so I went ahead and just picked Krista's comment of the day again because she was so excited about getting comment of the day that I just couldn't help myself but put her there again. So we will see if she actually watched the video. Last time she did, and she was very excited. I was actually surprised that she even watched it. So let's see if Krista notices that she got comment of the day again. So I thought that would be the funniest thing to do here. Anyway, for today's Patreon highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Diamond patrons, Michael Codalessa, Alicia Davis, Marcus Connolly, Catbite, Alan Sherry, Terry Curtis, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Bill Roberts, Kellen Manhart, Michael Buell, Mariah Vieira, Noah Harley, and Mark J, alongside our Platinum patrons, Adam S., Justin Quantrell, John Benbenick, Donna Carnes, Alan Belemo, Larry LePan, Dovie Nagel, James Wade, and Cameron Marshall. If you would like to be on this Patreon end screen, you can do so by joining our Patreon in the description and the pinned comment down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.